Hey, welcome to this video. We are going to be setting up IPVanish on our MikroTik, and to get that to work we're going to use WireGuard, which I've done other videos on previously. Never done anything on IPVanish before, but have used WireGuard a lot, and this comes off the back of someone requesting after watching my NordVPN video. So let's look at why I've gone for the WireGuard option now. So IPVanish is a VPN service, if you didn't know, very similar to ones I've done on NordVPN, my other videos. This one was requested by someone who'd watched my other videos, so I wasn't familiar with IPVanish. So I set myself up an account to take a look. The first thing that became apparent is that although we have all these, as you can see, applications that it will run on, so you can run it on your machine. You can run it on your phones. You can also run it on all your, smart TVs, Fire Sticks, and things like that. So the one thing I wanted to do though is I wanted it to run directly on my MikroTik router itself. But if we go onto this router section, we want to set up like we do with the Nord one. It would give us the credentials and the server to connect to. We'd also then be able to download the certificate we needed to initiate the IPsec tunnel. Whereas this one, all of these ones are here. Obviously, it's not a huge list. They're all basically, well, from what I can work out, when we select the random router, they're all based around the WRT. So the OpenWRT or the ZDWRT, if you're familiar with that. And then using that particular OS on the router, you're using either OpenVPN or WireGuard. So obviously MikroTik isn't selected here. There isn't heaps of them. We've got Nokia, but we don't have Cisco, for example. We have this Linksys, which, if you're familiar, is a product that Cisco owns now, but originally it was called Linksys. So I couldn't actually find a way to do the IPsec itself, but fortunately WireGuard is an option for us. So what I managed to do is, using one of these guides, is pick out the information I needed. And if you see my videos on WireGuard, I'm a big fan. So yeah, I've got it to work, so I'll show you how I did now. But like I say, I'm new to IPVanish. If you've done it before on a MikroTik or on any other router using the IKEV2, then put a comment below, and then I'll take another look. Very interested if there are other ways. IPVanish itself does look like it's pretty, from a price point of view, I went for the 2-year plan, just the essential for now, but yeah, it works out as $2 a month, which is, about $1 cheaper than NordVPN. And again, like Nord, they give you this 30-day money-back guarantee, so that's a winner. And the where they have their servers, the options are, pretty extensive. And you can also, within, like I'm in Australia, for example, I can actually select which particular city I want to route to. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, well, enough talking. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our WireGuard config from IPVanish. So once you've got your account, log in, and then we're just going to go to this WireGuard section here. So this would be, if you were to download this, if you're not familiar with WireGuard, but you can get a config file, which is just a text file. You could download that or use a QR code to install it on your devices. I really like WireGuard. I think it's a really good application. And it runs not on the later version of the newer versions of MikroTik. It runs in the OS directly. So I'm going to go to London. That's where I tend to connect from. As I mentioned, I'm in Australia, so it's a good, easy way to test that if you're crossing the other side of the world, you get really big ping times. If we were to do multiple tunnels, we would need to specify a public key, and I'll explain a bit of that in a minute. But we're just going to go ahead and generate this standard config, which, as I mentioned, is just going to be a text file. So put that in our downloads file. There we go. Open it in Notepad. So as you can see, there's the two sections to the config, very much like if you were to generate this on your MikroTik itself and then install it on the client. We have this interface section, and then we have this peer section. So what I'll do now is I'll jump on the MikroTik, and then this is a very it's just my app that I've got configured. I've just got a WAN and a LAN, very simple, nothing too fancy on here. We open up a WireGuard. As we've got WireGuard here. This is our interface section, and this is our peer section. So if I put this to one side and then put the text file there, we'll start by configuring our interface section. So we can copy these across. You can import this. There's a feature here to import it, but I did find it missed a couple of sections on the peer side, so it's probably easy just to do this from. There's not much to configure. Well, so that's our private key. We're going to stick in here. It's going to auto generate us a public key, and the listening port. So their one they're using is this 51820. So paste that in there. Okay, we can just call this. We'll call this WireGuard IPVanish for a bit of clarity. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and go to IP addresses, and we're going to give this new interface an IP address, which is going to be this one here. It's just a /32, so it's a single IP. And we stick that on our interface. Okay. So that's we won't worry about the DNS for now, we'll just use our own DNS. But that's our interface setup. Now we're going to go to peers. Going to add a peer. So again, we're going to call this IPVanish WG IPVanish. Okay, that's our interface we want. We've only got one. The public key. So this is the public key for the other end, which is why it's giving us that information. We need to install into there. Doesn't worry about our private key because the private key is only private to the client itself. Endpoint. This is the public IP address of the server, the UK one I selected. So yeah, it gives you an actual IP address rather than a host name, which is slightly different to what Nord does. Oops. Copy that. So that's our endpoint in there, and then we're going to specify that endpoint port. Okay, allow addresses. We're just going to allow everything over our tunnel, and that's it for that. So we can apply that. Okay. So that's basically our tunnel now set up. But now we can see we've got obviously that IP address is in there. But now what we're going to do is try and route over that tunnel. So go to IP routes. Then what we'll do is we'll add a static route. So let's say this way I'm going to be testing. Let's test a specific IP address. Okay, and then the gateway is going to be that interface name. Okay. There we go. Now, because we're not pointing an actual IP address, and the other side is not going to know about our LAN that we're going to be coming from, we're going to just NAT all of our traffic that goes over that tunnel. So we go to firewall. We're going to add so this is my outbound NAT wrangle rule, which is going out of my WAN interface, but we're just going to add a second one, which anything that is going to go out of our WireGuard interface is going to be masquerade, is going to be natted. Okay, so now if we open up a terminal, I try and ping Google DNS, for example. In fact, no, sorry, I'm going to trace route. -d to Google. There we go, goes out of my normal WAN. But now if I try and do that same to that single IP address that I put in my route table, there we go. It's going over to the IPVanish WireGuard tunnel. There we go. Pretty simple. So that's if you know what IP address you want to get to. But what happens if we want to route, say, a host or a an entire subnet. So we could do that by doing some policy routing. So one way to do that is, and I've done multiple videos on policy routing, some will apply here, so I'll put those in the description below. But we go to, where is it, routing, then tables. I'm going to add one and call it IPVanish TICFib. Okay. Now what we can do is we can say, we can give it a default route to that interface, but we want to put it in the routing table of IPVanish, so that hence we can have the two default gateways on the same machine, but they're in different routing tables. Now let's do, what's my IP of this machine? So I'm on 100, so we can do, we can add a rule that says anything from me, look up in the table, routing table IPVanish, and our destination is everything. Apply that. Okay. And what we'll do then is also add a rule to say everything destined for my local network, just so it doesn't route everything. 0/24. We want to look up in the main table. Okay, so we just put that one above that one because it's top down. So anything locally will go locally, and anything else will go over that. So let's test that out. So that original 8.8.8.8 one I did, now going over the tunnel. So that means all my traffic is now going over there. So if I open up, do show and just do my IP, which is, so that's, I know that's not my IP, my local one, and that's definitely one that's going over the tunnel. There we go. I'm in London apparently. So yeah, interestingly enough, it's quite quick actually. I was surprised at. It's obviously still trying to load stuff, but we are dealing with 300 plus milliseconds. So actually, when I did that ping, was it? Yeah, it's 200. So this is in fact quicker than Nord, which is good. Whether that's because I'm using WireGuard, not IPsec, maybe there's less payload going on there, but you know, it's pretty good. So obviously, if we wanted to route our entire subnet, what we do is just change this to be the whole subnet. +24. And now if I were to, where's my DHCP server? Let's make me static and change me to 99. Okay, I'll just open up my network adapters. I'm connecting to this machine via this adapter here, which is on the management network, where I've got no gateway, so I'm not routing anything across that. It's just so I can disable and re-enable my NIC without, you know, losing access and stuff, which isn't great when you're trying to do a demo. So okay, so we should have a new IP address. Yep, so I'm on 99 anymore. So hopefully that rule will now apply. There we go. So now my whole subnet is routing across that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Like I said, it's pretty quick. It's really easy to set up, and then it's just however you want to route it. Really, you can specify if there's a particular IP address. So I mentioned before when I have the Nord one currently set up on my MikroTik because I have a particular file share that I have to access in the UK from a UK IP address, and rather than having to VPN on my machine every time, I just specify that IP address to get to. So I could put that public IP address in here, or yeah, if it's a particular machine I want to always route to the UK, you can then just we can remove that now, can't we? You could just do that policy routing. But again, check out that if you want more detail about the policy routing. I've kind of jumped from, WireGuard to policy routing as well. But yeah, put them together and it works pretty well. So yeah, I didn't find a heap of stuff on the internet about when I tried to look over other guides or forums about how to do this. I must admit there is the OpenVPN option as well, which might be worth checking out, see if that's any better. I know that involves installing keys and stuff, so there'll probably be a bit more to it. WireGuard is, like I mentioned, I'm a big fan. I like using WireGuard. It's so easy to set up once you know how to, and it gives you heaps of options about how to specify what traffic goes over. But yeah, please comment below if you've got any questions, any other ideas you thought, if you tried this before and you've done it in a different way, or use a different particular you've got it working on another non-WRT router. Let me know how you did it. I'll be interested to know. But if not, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.